It's 28 years since the rage virus outbreak, and communities have popped up on both sides of the causeway. However, it's one young boy's journey to become a man in this post-apocalyptic nightmare, and he's going to use his Legolas skills to save Mummy Poos. It's time to revisit the franchise that kick-started the zombie apocalypse explosion with 28 years later.
Hello there, you loose units, and welcome back to another episode of Spicy Boy Reviews. I'm, of course, your host, Andrew Iles. That's right, 28 years later, directed by Danny Boyle and written by Alex Garland, the duo that brought us the original 28 Days Later, and this being the first time working together since Sunshine, released in 2007. As the movie has stated, it's a fair few years after the rage virus was released by Peter Wankers. And it seems that only Great Britain is affected by this virus nowadays, as the whole country is quarantined from the rest of the world. But what about the ending of the sequel, I hear you ask? Don't worry about that. There's some convenient exposition titles at the start of the movie to explain that all away, as everywhere else in the world pushed back the virus and contained it to just Britain, as the rest of the world looked at Britain and said, fuck 'em. Of course, if the President of the United States crash lands in Britain, I'm sure they'll send Snake Plissken in after him. Anyway, I digressed. We are introduced to a small community on a tiny island, where we meet young boy Spike, who is going on his first scavenger hunt on the mainland with Daddy Craven. We also learn that Spike's mother is incredibly unwell and has symptoms of a brain tumour. But more on that later. Spike then nuts up and treks into the wilderness with his father. On their trek, we discover as the audience that some of the infected have evolved and devolved. The pair find sluggish, slimy, gluttonous infected who crawl along the ground and feast on whatever they find in the dirt. And the fast-paced, ravenous infected who are all led by what we come to learn as an alpha. And upon the alpha's reveal, and we see him on screen, it's clear to see why he's the leader of the pack. After going through some super tense scenarios, anxiety-inducing interactions, Spike learns that there's an old doctor well within the mainland who's up to some kooky shit. This is the first time that Spike has learned that doctors still exist, as by this point in history they're a bit of a myth. And he thinks to himself, maybe this doctor can cure his mother. And wouldn't you know it, Spike then takes Mummy Poos and books in an appointment with the nutty GP. In doing so, however, they trek further and further into the mainland, crossing paths with all kinds of danger, fleeing when needed, making some questionable, if not what the fuck dumb decisions along the way, and crossing paths with another survivor for some comedic relief. The structure of this film is very much in the same vein as Part 1 and somewhat Part 2. It's pretty much a road movie filled with danger, anticipation, anxiety-inducing scenarios, and some super tense moments. I've seen some flack online that the movie didn't live up to the hype or some expectations. Granted, the trailer gave the impression that this was going to be a survival story with the father and son, which the film does deliver for the first half of the movie. But then, Mummy tags in. Which, honestly, I didn't mind for the second half of the film, as that's where a lot of the heart comes from. And it definitely fits into the world that the first movie set up. Along the way, the film even expands on the evolution of the infected. And we learn a thing or two. However, these revelations could split people on the film. Whether you find this discovery far-fetched and or stupid, it's interesting all the same. And the film does leave it open for a future installment. I think this is the first in a new trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. And the ending is absolutely off the wall, batshit crazy, and it made me laugh in a good way. Thanks to Danny Boyle and Alex Garland with that first 28 Days Later movie, they kick-started the renaissance boom of zombie/infected movies and TV shows. Without them, I don't think we would have got a Dawn of the Dead remake or the Walking Dead TV show. And the genre was all but dead by 2002. Pun intended. And with that duo, they made zombies, or the infected if you will, scary again. Especially by making them super fast and ravenous. Not the first time that had been attempted within the genre, but damn effective and terrifying all the same. I really enjoyed this film and enjoyed it thoroughly from start to finish. And the true lead of this film is the character Spike, played excellently by Alfie Williams. It's a really good performance from him. And lo and behold, the film made me really excited about future installments. I was really excited to see this film, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. As aforementioned, there are some decisions that are very questionable, to say the least. However, I was engaged from start to finish. Anyway, guys, that's my chicken little review of 28 Years Later. Write down below if you've seen it, what are your thoughts on it, but more importantly, what is your favourite zombie/infected film? And of course, if you've made it this far into the episode, please give me a thumbs up, because your love and support keeps me going, because I just love movies, and I assume you do as well. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe icon, because I give it an episode weekly. And I'll see you back here next week for the next review, but until then, stay spooky, kids.